Hello, this is Retro Workshop, and here is my new series, Sim Racing Guide for Beginners, How to Master a Track. This is part 1 of 3, entitled Learning the Lines and Points. You will see me go through this process myself in real time, on the fairly difficult London street circuit in GT5, with the Honda R09 on professional level settings, with most of the assists turned off. I started in 12th position and ended in 2nd, around 10 seconds behind pole position. This is one of the more difficult tracks in the game, so I ended up doing 10 laps rather than 5 with the racing line on, and this is the second set of 5. You want to be slow and consistent rather than fast and aggressive until you're at a higher level of driving, unlike myself. Then it's just a matter of putting in the hours of practice to improve consistency and to figure out exactly what you need to do and where the edges are. You will notice a few big mistakes in this race, almost always relating to braking points on the edges, such as hitting the harsh corner walls, and I directly crashed into a wall on the first corner as well, I think, because I was going too fast. There are 3 major elements at play here. 1. Racing lines, 2. Braking points, 3. Shifting points / patterns. I suggest you turn the racing line on for 5 laps, 10 if needed, when you first drive on a new track, since this will give you all the aforementioned information. However, you can do as many or as few laps as needed. I would also suggest you only race for 30 minutes at most on the first day, or at least the first session. Going hard for 2 or 3 hours on a new track will do more harm than good at the beginner level. The racing line tells you 1. Where to drive on the track, 2. When to brake, 3. When to up and down shift. The racing line gives you even more measurement in terms of shifting, and at some point in this process you will just know when to shift based on where you are on the track and the sound of the engine as well. It has already started to come together a little bit for me after a week on this game, just playing 1 hour a day, so just 7 hours, and I've already got a good feel for manual, the engine sounds and shifting patterns, and I was very worried on the first few days that I would never get better. I can only assume then that over the next few weeks it will become second nature, and I will even be able to drive on the tracks I know most of all, such as Trial Mountain, with all the icons off, such as the map and speed / shifting indicator, meaning I would be driving blind and purely from memory. Most importantly, however, the racing line helps to tell you when is too early and too late to shift, brake and or slow down or speed up. I strongly suggest you turn the line off after 10 laps, since it's going to be worse overall to keep it on forever and depending too heavily on what the line is telling you, rather than the track, car and your own brain / ability. Although you can always turn the line back on later, after 25 to 50 laps on the track, to make sure you are driving correctly, then turn it back off again. More so if you plan on getting serious with sim racing in the future, as you will be driving without racing lines and without assists. For me, after many laps with the line on, I am able to visualise the track thereafter, so even with the racing line turned off, you'll know when to shift, when to brake and where to drive, which is essentially all there is. I suggest you stick with just 1 or 2 cars if possible. I almost always use the Honda R09 in arcade mode on GT5, for example. I am best with this car and thus can focus on the track and shifting etc. without having to worry about the car itself. There are 2 additional things I should want to say about the racing line. The first is to take it with a grain of salt, and in the future experiment with altered lines or corners, because the line given may not be the ideal or fastest line possible. At some point this will just click into place in your mind. However, remember that consistency is the most important aspect to almost every type of racing, and I suggest you drive on manual transmission if possible. Well, that is all for this video. I have been Retro Workshop, and you have been watching Sim Racing Guide for Beginners, How to Master a Track, Part 1. Thank you.